October 2003 in Westmeath, a tranquil county and footballing backwater, but that's about to change.
The new manager of the Westmeath football team, Páidí Ó Sé.
Páidí Ó Sé has won 10 All-Irelands as player and manager. Westmeath have never won anything at senior level. They make an odd and interesting couple. But Páidí's mind is still on an old love. The previous week, Páidí was sacked from the Kerry manager's job. At home in Ventry, he's hurting badly, feeling bemused by his dismissal.
If you're somebody that the last thing I think about before going to bed is football and Kerry, and the first thing I think about in the morning when I wake up is football and Kerry, and that I've been doing that since I knew what a football looked like. Nothing meant more to me than the green and gold. It's no major secret. I heard the news second hand. Dúirt ban lum, go dúirt ban lé. It hurt me immensely, you know. I possibly felt that I was going to go away quietly. Give him enough time now and he'll walk the plank, but no. In actual fact, my own wife and family said, make them fire you. Of course I have made mistakes, calling Kerry supporters, was it fucking animals or something. What I meant was that they were high achievers in Kerry, that they were animals to satisfy because they wanted their team in Croke Park every year. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's a compliment. That's a compliment. I have made mistakes, and I'll admit that I have made mistakes. Will they admit that they made a mistake, and will they admit that they handled their business untidily? I didn't hear any of them admitting it yet, anyhow. And you won't either. I didn't give any major thought to training another team, to be honest. I gave the Westmeath job no major thought. The ideal situation for me was when I was finished with management in Kerry was to bow out totally and not get involved in any managerial work anymore, maybe concentrate a little bit of my time on my family and my business. But again, in the manner in which it happened, all of a sudden, out of the blue, that's possibly how I said I better hang on to something for my sanity.
A sharp-suited bank manager, Tommaso Flaherty, seems an unlikely sidekick for a straight-talking publican. But for Páidí, he's the obvious choice as trainer. They go back a long way.
I remember the first time that I saw him, it was about 9, I would say, 8 or 9 at the time, and I don't know how I got into Dingle the certain evening, but I remember people were talking about this young lad playing left corner back, and he had the jersey outside the togs, and he had the white collar up, a red jersey, and I don't think there was numbers on the jerseys even, and that was the PO. Sure, he was on to me every 5 minutes about going to Westmeath, and I eventually gave in.
That's it, go down in the ball, that's it, don't spill it. Go on, Russell again. Go again, Russell, Rory, no fucking news coming with Kerry. Come on,
These days, championship preparations begin long before a ball is kicked. The dynamic duo begin working with their new team, knowing the National League will test Westmeath's early progress. In March, for the first time in Páidí's life, Kerry are the opposition.
Unknown to an awful lot of people, yesterday was, apart from bereavement now and other situations, probably the hardest day of my life. Other people can apply themselves differently, who go on and manage other teams. But for me yesterday, personally, my mind was in a turmoil. I was a Westmeath man yesterday, lump it or like it.
Kerry are too good for Westmeath. So are most other teams in Division 1. The Hacks and even some fans are losing faith in the Messiah already. Word is that Páidí could become an OBE out by Easter. These are dark days. His job is on the line.
We got a run of bad games where we were coming out second best. And rumours started filtering there in a boot with my non-attendance and training. It was very, very difficult for me, I must admit. No, it was very, from travel and overnighting and different things. There's a certain percentage within me that I keep to myself. I'll never tell anybody. After games, I wasn't, I didn't have my meal with the players, or I was keeping my distance, and I think that put an extra strain on them. It took me a bit of time just to get my head around it and to get really tuned in. I wasn't going up to Westmeath just to fill in a bit of time, a bit of space in my life. They're playing Division 1 football. They have won minor All-Irelands. They have won under 21 championships. So I mean that is football there.
Westmeath win just one league game, their last one, but it saves them from relegation. Bruised and battered, they regroup at Inchydonny Beach in West Cork, digging deep within themselves to find the strength needed for coming challenges.
I always get clued in for championship, because the wire says I get clued in when the cuckoo comes around, but hopefully I'll be around with the team longer than the cuckoo this year.
Back in Westmeath, it's the week before the first round championship game against neighbours Offaly. On the border, 92-year-old Joe Fox is in his 8th decade following the team. It's been a thankless task, but the excitement doesn't lessen with the years.
I saw Westmeath playing in the first round of the Leinster Championship in 1930. We were beaten, of course, naturally. Counties with a smaller population, such as Charlow and Longford, won all right, but we never, we were afraid to get hurted. I was often in a crowd and some talk of coming around about football, the sort of way. And I'd be ashamed to say that I was from Westmeath. We were a kind of a laughing stock. The last time to beat Offaly, 1949. They beat them in a replay in Mullingar. They drew in Tullamore, and they beat them in a replay in Tullamore, in Mullingar. That's the last time, yeah. They were a bogey team. Offaly is a bogey team to Westmeath. If Westmeath is beaten, I'll be in very, very bad humour. I'm a bad loser. Hope springs eternal in the human breast. Who's the Tennyson said that? Hope springs eternal in the human breast.
Across the border, Tullamore barber and former Offaly player Noel McGee has no fear of Westmeath.
We were in the doldrums ourselves for a long time, and then when the footballers broke through in 1970 then, like, you know, they won a few after that, like, you know, and had great success since then. But same thing could happen with Westmeath. Here this morning, the first 20 customers, there was 12 from Westmeath. We all get involved in it, and there's great banter and good, honest to God, local rivalry, like, you know, and there's nobody going to fight about it at the end of the day, you know. But
You think not.
I don't know whether they're all that happy over there with Páidí at present, like, you know, but then again, like, you know, he's only there for 6 months or that, like, you know, so he has a lot to prove yet, like, you know, but they haven't had any great benefits from him so far. But you never know. After the game, he could be a hero, or else he could be back down adventure. One or the other. You don't know.
The championship is where you prove what you're made of. In Croke Park, the Westmeath team carry the hopes of an entire county.
Every time that you go into the stadium, you get this feeling of, oh, I don't know what it is, you know, you get this kind of a buzz or whatever, you know. It's a magnificent stadium. If you're going in there for the first time, you can become very much overawed by it. I'll be focused, and we'll all be focused, hopefully, and as I say, look, we have left no stone unturned.
After all the hard work of winter and spring, the moment of truth has finally arrived.
Westmeath have not beaten Offaly for 55 years. Is this to be the day? Páidí, the man who kept them in Division 1, looking to secure victory. O'Shaughnessy firing it down, controlled well by Morley, and he goes for glory and kicks it over the bar. Brian Morley's first shot on the target, and James Grennan got a great point in the league decider, but he fists it instead quite wisely and puts it over. And there's an Offaly player down injured. It's Pascal Keelan. Team doctor in straight away, and the referee has issued a red card. It's Rory O'Connell who's been red carded.
Westmeath are down to 14 men, and win or lose, O'Connell, their only All-Star, will face a 12-week ban. The season hangs in the balance.
Now's the time to get in. Now's the time to get in the fucking boots, man.
Slattery, great run through, knifing his way through the Westmeath defence. Still Slattery. Good point. Can the 14 men hold on? Now who's going to take it? Coming for another, and it's a great block this time. Morley trying to look for space. In he kicks as far as Michael Ennis, and Michael Ennis has kicked him over the bar. It's all over, and Westmeath beat Offaly for the first time in 55 years in the Leinster Championship.
It'll be totally and utterly and very much a team effort. Obviously, they'll be throwing a share of the old credit over to me and this and that, but I'll be honest with you, an awful lot of groundwork has been done in Westmeath ever before I got involved here, or Tomas Flaherty or Paddy Collins or Jack Cooney. An awful lot of groundwork has been done.
Once the pressure wasn't so much on you as a manager as you experienced in Kerry, and maybe it was all the other side.
I don't know when last there wasn't pressure on me. Stop, lads.
The week after the Offaly game, local radio commentator Ned Flynn is trying to pass the torch to the next generation of Westmeath footballers.
God, Colin, you have lots of work to do to get these fellas into footballers.
The road to Croke Park starts here.
Tackle, tackle, tackle! Oh, you're not supposed to give it back to her. Lads, who's out here marking this girl?
Well, mark up, lads.
Mickey Murray, are you afraid of this lassie?
It has become a babysitting service. You nominate the place where the game is or the training is, and the parents will drop them there and disappear. Back to the shopping if it's a Sunday morning and come back and collect them. And then you're left there hoping and minding them and watching them.
To go off a corner forward no matter who's playing bad. Mickey! 43 hops!
Years ago when people had no money, they seemed to have plenty of time and they could come and bring their cars to matches, help you out. Nowadays we have plenty of money, but apparently no time. I suppose if you take a look at people who commute from here to Dublin, leave 7 o'clock in the morning, back 7 or 8 o'clock at night, the last thing they want to do is go off to a bunch of screeching children looking after under 12s. You know, what they want to do is go to bed and get ready for the next day. I don't know will the aspect of volunteerism become any better, because if it doesn't, it's going to be putting the same load on the few people.
Oh, holy God!
At the end of the day, really, Westmeath only won one league game, and we have won the one championship game. I suppose it is an advancement, but I feel that for Westmeath to say they have improved, they would have to beat Dublin on Sunday, so I've got to the next level.
Now, you have to try and pick it up properly, because it's not soccer you're playing. It is Gaelic football.
The road and flight paths between Ventry and Mullingar have become familiar to Páidí. He leaves home at noon and returns at midnight. But the distance between Kerry and Westmeath is as much historical as geographical.
Westmeath have never won a Leinster championship. Kerry can win a Munster championship this year and it'll be forgotten about by Tuesday. They're not talking about Munster championships in Kerry anymore. They're talking about All Irelands. The difference between that and Westmeath is that if Westmeath won a Leinster championship, it would be nearly as good to them as an All Ireland.
The manager's head won't be in the clouds because of one victory. Dublin await, and they pose a new set of problems.
They will have to approach the Dublin game the next day in a totally different way than they approach the Offaly game. You have a team the next day now who are probably the most physical team in the country, and we have to meet that challenge.
How are you? See you in the fortnight.
Okay, we're sure we will.
Hundreds of miles from home, Marooned in Westmeath, Páidí could easily feel isolated. Luckily, he can count on Tomás, somebody who knows where he's coming from.
Kerry Gaeltacht and Ballyferriter, when we were growing up, we had nothing else but Gaelic football there. There was no hurling there was no soccer there, no greyhound racing or horse racing or anything. The two of us, we probably think about football the same way, and we see the same things in certain players. We had a trial game one night, and there was one fella, he was playing quite well, and I didn't say anything to Páidí for a while because I knew what his reaction would be. He was still playing well in the second half, and I said, here goes, I'll go anyway, I know he'll roar at me. So I said to him, Páidí, that player there, he's playing very well. Ah, he is, but Jesus, sure, he's wearing a pair of white boots. When did you ever see a player with white boots any use? And I knew that was the thing he was going to say to me.
It was far from white boots Páidí was reared, but he's been moving up in the world ever since.
There's no doubt about it that politicians are the biggest manipulators that can come across. There's no doubt about that. On election day, you see the politicians and their tallymen and their supporters and see how they operate and all that. There's no doubt about it. Whether you're going badly or going well, there is a major buzz in it. The fact that I know so many politicians, I think, hasn't done me any harm from a point of view of dealing with people and players.
Back in the Midlands, Joe Fallon, once a regular in the team, is in danger of being cast adrift from the first 15.
Well, I suppose the big thing on everyone's mind tonight is the actual name of the team, even though in our own minds we'd have a fair idea, but maybe one or two positions possibly up for contention. From my own point of view, at this stage I wouldn't expect to be starting given the way training has been lined out, but I certainly be hoping to play a part at some stage on Sunday. We happened to go up to Croke Park just to have a look around at it again for one or two of the lads that haven't played there before. And I think when you step inside the gates and you step out onto the field, you realise how much you would love to be actually winning something there at senior level. So I suppose that's what kind of keeps you going. It's what makes it worthwhile. I suppose it's only natural that you're going to be a small bit nervous. I have seen players even before getting sick or whatever in dressing rooms. You're asking too much to go out on a field if you're going to be that nervous then, because you're going to be thinking about too much, I suppose, about what you're going to do when you get the ball. You have to just, I suppose, cope with the nerves and just try and turn them to your advantage.
40% improvement in the backs. Midfielders are fucking willing to do it as they've been written off. And forwards, you have to give us that 50%.
Joe's intuition is correct. That evening, he doesn't make the team. His manager knows what the player must be feeling.
Every player wants to play. I was started against Cork in 1988 and I was named in the subs. I didn't speak to Mick Dwyer for 5 years. And I was giving myself 25,000 reasons why I should have started. But it took me 5 years to find out and to tell myself that he was right, because I was going badly in training, but I didn't want to admit it to myself. So taking players off in games and not starting players for games and all of that, again you have the advantage of having been through it, and you'll understand how a player is feeling. So you're in a better position to be able to explain it to him.
In the Leinster semi-final up for grabs. McGee launching it in. Sherlock has got away from John Keane. McKean recovered well. Brogan in there too. Brogan has it. Sen Connell is inside and Brogan gets Dublin's first point. Here's Alan Brogan and they are motoring now after a sluggish start. The Westmeath full back line being taken apart by Brogan. Takes his point. Here's Alan Brogan. They really have got into their stride, Dublin. Here's J.O. again, making space. He is just on fire at the moment for Dublin. 4 points in the first 16 minutes. Here's Des Dolan. Dolan getting away from Barry Cahill again, and Dolan coming round the corner. Has he got it? Yes, he has. That's a great point from Des Dolan. An incident there, I think, involving Kieran Whelan, and Whelan could be in real trouble with the referee here. Well, that a huge let-off. You won't see a clear elbow in the face as Westmeath have responded while you look at that, and a point from David Mitchell. What a response from Westmeath. And they really do believe they can take on Dublin and beat them here in Croke Park. Here's Kieran Whelan. Now it's Alan Brogan. Brogan has kicked 4 points. But an important time now. Here's Jason Sherlock. Can they get a goal? What a brilliant save from Kerry Connaughton.
With the stakes up for grabs, Páidí plays a final card. Joe Fallon gets his chance.
Game so crucial. Here's Joe Fallon. Fallon, can he put Westmeath in front? It's on the way, and Fallon has got it, and Westmeath lead with with 3 minutes of injury time to go. It's over. Westmeath have beaten Dublin. Delight for Páidí Ó Sé. Tommy Lyons down there shaking his hand at the moment, but a dark day for Dublin.
Come on, Jared. Come on, Derry.
There's a togetherness about this outfit. We have the likes of Pádraig there, we have Can, we have Mick Duffy, we have our medical team, we have all the selectors, we have all the officers, we have our sponsors. But above all, lads, now, lads, we have our own identity. What more have we got to do now, lads, only if we can beat the teams and the counties who have tradition. We are slowly but surely making our own mark in this situation.
I won 8 All-Irelands, played in 13 Munster finals and won 11 out of the 13. Won 3 or 4 national leagues, 3 under 21 All-Irelands. So football has been extremely good to me, and the reason it has is Kerry is such a great county. So many people came to me after the game against Dublin and said, "Páidí, this must have been a great moment for you," and I described it as a special moment. And it wouldn't compare with any of the wins that I had with my own county, both as a player and as a manager. I'm still a Kerryman, and I'll always be a Kerryman. I'm a believer in the green and gold, and nothing will ever change me about that. Football was first. Football came first, before everything. But it still does in this house. All my family would have the greatest of confidence in me to do a job when I'm tuned in. At times it's difficult to get me tuned in, but when I am tuned in, I'm extremely good. I can be extremely bad as well now when I'm not tuned in.
Wexford will be Westmeath's opponents in the semi-final. Fellow minnows, they still deserve respect.
Come on, no shortcuts, lads.
A lot of people are, even supporters that they're getting a bit complacent about Wexford, and the way that we see it is like Westmeath have never won anything. Wexford have a great tradition. They've won 4 All-Irelands in a row. Like, they're going to be very dogged and very hard to beat, and we really have to, be mentally tough. We can't be one bit complacent.
Glennon. Oh, that's a fantastic point from Glennon. Redmond Kerry chasing him. Glennon very strong. Really quick thinking as well. Derek Keevan. That's Brian Morley looking for another one, and Wexford are in real trouble at the moment. Redmond Barry. John Hegarty, great score from Hegarty. What could be on here for Wexford? They're within 2, and we'll see how Westmeath react to this now. Its next few scores absolutely crucial. Launched in towards Glennon. Philip Wallace got a hand to it. Here's a chance. Oh, what a fantastic goal! Shane Cleary. Dennis Glennon, the full forward line, really good for Westmeath. Colin Galligan, and here's Dolan, the icing on the cake. That's it. It's over.
well done. Well done, lads. Well done. We never bloody well thought when there were an awful lot of vultures up around October and November and December and January of last year, what they were saying, what they were not saying about Westmeath. Fuck them now, lads. They didn't crack us. They didn't certainly crack me anyhow, lads, I can assure you. We were giving Tuesday to you as a day of rest on one condition. Obviously, you know the condition. It would be so disappointing that I'd throw it away from me if I thought that any player from 1 to 32 was acting the bollocks, drinking and fucking about. One fella can bring everything down. Every bloody thing that we've done up to now can be brought down because of some fucking weak guy who decides that he's above the rest. Starting tonight, we allow the outside world to dictate to us how in the manner which we are thinking, we're in fucking deep trouble. We're in deep trouble, lads. So the steely stuff starts tonight. And there is one bit of advice I'll give you, lads. You're like the good fucking detective, you're never off. You're never off duty. You won't be fucking off duty, lads, until this Leinster Championship is won. Well done, lads.
Summertime in Westmeath usually includes an early exit from the championship. But this year, lifelong supporters like Mick Duffy can dare to dream.
There's a bit of pride in your own county, I think, that you know, you can be up there like the Kerrys and the Dublins and the Meads and the Offaly's and all your neighbouring counties have had success over the last 30, 40 years. We haven't been in that limelight, and you've always been wishing that, you know, would the day ever come? And now, you know, sometimes I have to pinch myself and say, are we really in this situation? You're waiting to wake up and find out that it was all a bloody dream. But it's not a dream. It is reality. I'm only one fanatic in the county. There's thousands of fanatics out there. Leinster is something that we long for.
Just before the Leinster final, Páidí gets a major boost. Rory O'Connell's High Court action against his ban has succeeded. He can now play against Laois, the team managed by Páidí's old boss, Mick O'Dwyer.
The Mick O'Dwyer factor is not going to be as difficult on this occasion for me. There's an amount of pressure on me when I was with Kerry playing Kildare. That was our last encounter. That pressure won't be there at all this time. I mean, here are we, a team that never won a Leinster Championship. Didn't play in a Leinster Championship since 1949. Playing a team who are Leinster champions. We have nothing to lose. So, maybe for a change now, the pressure might be a little bit on Mick this time to deliver. Might be no harm. He's one of the people, I suppose, that had certainly a major influence in my whole life. He knows damn well that I know him inside out, that he's the biggest rogue. And if Mick telling you he's going to Dublin, Mick probably going to Galway. You know, and vice versa. When he asks me something as well, he knows quite well as well that I just play hardball with him.
On Sunday morning, the people of Mullingar and Athlone, Tyrrell's Pass and Rochford Bridge place their faith in the team. Páidí's taking no chances. He's going straight to the top.
I'm very, very, very superstitious. I'm extremely superstitious. I will wear the same suit next Sunday for the Leinster final that I wore for the first day against Offaly, to the game, to Mass in the cathedral in Mullingar. I'd say an awful lot of people thinking I've only one suit. I was more uptight playing in my last All-Ireland than I was in my first. In what was I, 32 or 3 when I won my last All-Ireland. You're questioning your fitness levels and you're saying, jeepers, it's today the day now that I'm going to meet some young fella that's going to score 2 goals and 5 pints off me. Those things will be going through your mind. But if you have the work done during the national anthem, you'll say, well, Jesus, I won't get reddened here in Croke Park today. You have to be wired to the moon, but at the same time you must be comfortable within yourself. When you leave the dressing room, yes, you are fired up and very fired up, but you must be fired up in a composed way.
The opportunity has at last arrived for Westmeath to end one of the longest losing runs in Irish sport.
That's the prize this evening. Will it be going to Laois or to Westmeath for the very first time? And the 2004 Leinster Senior Football Final underway. Conway, look at the space, the marking is just not up to it from Westmeath. Now they close down Fitzpatrick, but he goes back. Laois are into their stride already. Get the fucking down! Get it down! This time it's Bina McDonald is furthest forward. McDonald has Parkinson outside, well blocked down by Damien Healy, but it might still come for Chris Conway. Well taken, the Laois captain. Dennis Glennon moving from one side to the other. Alan Mangan is through the middle, and Byrne just hasn't got the pace to cope with Glennon. Glennon's still going! Point. Could so easily have been a goal. They're back to within two. Tom Kelly who seems to be picking up Glennon now. O'Shaughnessy. Has he the confidence to have a go? Glennon has had a go and it hasn't been good. Here's Dolan to give Westmeath the lead. Hangs an awful long time and he's done it. And Westmeath lead for the second time in this final. Glennon is waiting inside. Lots of support in tight. And Fallon has found the gap and he's bursting through. Joe Fallon for Westmeath. Great kick. What a difference he's made. Joe Fallon playing very well. You wonder why he didn't start. Here's Dennis Glennon taking on Kelly. He's going to be hard to get by, but Glennon has got through for Westmeath. Takes his point. Laois will know how much time they've got to get an equaliser, and they'd probably grab a draw off you at this late stage. Will they do it? They've got options here. Chris Conway, the captain, has equalised. The Leinster champions are back on terms. Chris Conway has levelled it. And will we live to fight another day? Yes, we will. It's ended in a draw. A really titanic struggle, but we have to come back here next Saturday for the replay. We won't have a winner today. It's been a super game.
I'm only just hoping that these lads will be steely tough for me now. Now, that's what all these trips down to Inchidohony, down to Ross's Point, speaking to the lads in the water and the sea water. I mean, we have our tie bar, our little badge that we wear. Like Bola Darle Dornev. You know, they're trying to beat Westmeath, is trying to beat your hand off an oak tree. I mean, that big time comes into play next Saturday evening now. That comes into play big time.
Most people think Westmeath have missed the boat. Páidí has 5 days to make the team believe again.
I'd like to think that I'm pretty handy getting inside people's heads. I must say that I particularly enjoy working with these bunch of lads. It would be more difficult with Kerry because they have tasted success very, very frequently. But for a team like Westmeath who haven't, they're willing to go the extra mile for you, or the extra yard for you.
We're going well, lads. But, lads, bring the bit of fucking devilment into your play the next day now, and the tigerish play. The discipline, the tightness, the rough and tumble stuff out around the middle of the field, the fucking breaking ball. A grain of rice is going to tip the scale. Just remember that, lads. A grain of rice will tip the scale. But you'll have to get steely tough upstairs, and you must be willing to fucking break your gut. You were fucked over the line twice. fucked over the line like you'd catch a fucking loaf of bread and fucked you over the line with his shoulder. And what that does is, it lifts the opposition. We don't want to see no Westmeath man fucked about. Is that clear now, Alan? No more. You have to be closer. Closer to fuck. We'll have to fucking crash into these fellas and test out their fucking pulse. Because I'm telling you lads, these fellas will play good football if they're allowed. Give me one fucking guarantee, each and every one of you, that you're going to be tighter, that you're going to be more disciplined, that you're going to be more tigerish, and that you're going to take the fucking game to these fellas. That these fellas will get such a fucking shell shock next Saturday evening that we'll put them back in their fucking asses for fucking 10 years. Alright lads.
It's Laois and Westmeath, Páidí against Mickle, phase 2, and we're underway. Tom Kelly, here's Munnelly, he's made up a lot of ground, into Noel Garvin, Garvin off to Tom Kelly, Kelly looking for the first point and getting it.
We're playing way too tight.
Tomkinson, Gary Kavanagh couldn't hang on, here's Brennan, oh he's caught them beautifully. Laois cruising in the early stages. Oh dear. They've gone 22 minutes, as you can see, in this Leinster final replay without a single point.
We work so fucking hard to get it, and then we get it away so fucking easy.
Alan Mangan. Mangan gets turned, and there we go. The first point for Westmeath after 23 minutes of the game. Glennon's got some space, but a long way out. Glennon goes round Rooney, and Glennon has got it. That's a really good point. They're level. Glennon deciding to have a go. And that's a fantastic point. And Westmeath now lead for the first time. Brian Morley, he's got inside to O'Shaughnessy. His midfielder is lost it. Now inside to Brian Morley. Is there a goal in for Westmeath? He takes the tackle. Certainly not showing any signs of nerves at the moment, Westmeath. They lead by 5 against the reigning Leinster champions, Dolan. Now has he got it? The crowd behind absolutely love it. And it hasn't gone over the bar. Maybe it'll go in the back of the net from Mangan. He's fisted it over. Mangan with his third point, and perhaps the most important of all. Now there's no foul here. Donald O'Donoghue to Alan Mangan. Mangan in the clear. Can he convert? Yes, he can. Alan Mangan with his 4th point of the game. They've all been from play. Here come Laois. They will have opportunities. They will have a lot to say. They're the reigning Leinster champions. Kevin Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick looking to respond straight away, doing it all himself, Fitzpatrick. And that's a very good point from Kevin Fitzpatrick. It's his second. Dina MacDonald getting away from Healy is an opportunity for MacDonald. Oh, just about takes it. Here's Dina MacDonald. Is there a chance here? A chance for Laois. Oh, what a miss from Kevin Fitzpatrick.
Oh, unbelievable.
That was the drawing of the game. And he put it wide. Down here in front of us, the Westmeath supporters are coming onto the park. It's over for the very first time. Westmeath are Leinster senior football champions. They have made history. Páidí Ó Sé has led them to the promised land, and this is an unbelievable night for Westmeath football, for the county of Westmeath, and for Páidí Ó Sé. What seems here in Croke Park, it's like the end of the All-Ireland.
From my heart, listen up, out lads. Everything that ye have done, and everything that we have asked you to do, up to now, up to we lifting that canister, ye have done it. And that's the reason, lads, that we have that bio here. That's the reason we have that bio here. Ye are now the ambassadors, not just of your own county, but of all of Ireland. Ye have a major duty in that young boys and girls and young families will be looking up to the Westmeath football teams. and we'll direct those youngsters in the right direction, and it will be a while again before we'll be waiting fucking how many years it was the start of the association. And listen lads, it takes a good man to take his beating, but it takes a better man who's a winner to keep it inside and to hold his head.